Hello friend, in today's video I will be talking about KNN, K nearest neighbor, an algorithm which is very important in context to machine learning. But before I get into the core part of KNN, what I thought is I must tell you some of the pre-processing steps which you need to do in order to understand how KNN works. The very first thing what I have written in my collab is I have gone for the import of Pandas library. Now why do you need Panda? Well, Panda is a library which is very frequently used in Python machine learning for the help of representing or manipulation of data in the tabular format. Well, to say it represents very much like an Excel, which we often see, and that's the reason we need Pandas. And over here I have already connected the Google Drive with this collab. For that reason these two lines are stated. And in my Google Drive I had got a file which is CSV file by the name called by_book.csv. Let me read that file, and at the same time I want to show you something. While reading this particular file I'm using Panda. Well, this is an alias form, this is the name of the module, and in short we are going to represent Panda by PD. That's just a convention. You can write anything of your choice. Now inside this particular library you have got something called read_csv, a method which is going to read the data from a CSV file and would store the data right over here. This is a reference variable. Now the question goes is, after you read the data from the CSV with the help of Panda, the reference that you are getting created, this reference is of what type? Sound interesting, isn't it? Well, let me show you that. As I execute this particular statement, you will see that it creates something called DataFrame, and this is very important. Pandas.code.frame.DataFrame. So do remember, when you're reading a CSV file with the help of Panda, you land up with a format called DataFrame, and this DataFrame is actually a combination of rows and columns, and that's what we are going to see right now. I have gone for printing a few of the rows of my CSV file right over here. Head within bracket 5 means I want to read the first 5 rows from this particular CSV, and that's what it is showing over here. And as you can see over here, it has very nicely pointed out something. Okay, I can do one more thing. I can open this particular file by clicking on this link, and as I do that, over here the file would get open. Let me show you if the file can open. Yes, it's getting open right over here. This is what the content of the file is. It has got 25 entries, out of which you are seeing the first 10 entry. Over here pagination has been done. If I click on the number 2, it will take you to the next 20, and thereafter you are left with just 5 more records. So total there are 25 records are there, and out of these 25 records you are seeing the first 5 record because I have gone for head within bracket 5. Now as you see over here, and that's what I was saying, that why Pandas is essential, because this data which is in the CSV format is now represented in the form of a tabular format, isn't it? That has got rows and columns, and this particular structure will be very important to understand the next module or the next segment of the code. As you can see over here, the rows have got a row number starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, and these are the columns, and that's how the column has been labeled. Well, this label is coming from this particular file itself. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some slicing which you need to understand very much in detail before you get into the machine learning part of the KNN classification. Now in order to get into the code part, what I have done is that I have created a sample. I want to show you, I want to make you understand that how actually slicing works, and for that reason, for the time being, I'm not working on this particular file. I will get back to this file, but just to make you understand the basic structure, how it works, I have created over here a dictionary. And the core logic over here is to make you understand how exactly slicing works in Python. Okay, that is what the main funda over here. Okay, let me close this particular tab, and here it goes. So I have created over here a sample dictionary, just a basic dictionary, and you know very well a dictionary means a key value pair. Now look over here what the thing is going to work. Imagine these are the column heading, as you can see over here: age, student name, income, just like that. Just imagine these are the keys, or these are the column heading. Okay, and each of these column heading has got the following data. So that means name, some of the data I have given over here; age, some age I have given, which is in the form of an array; city, these are the city name I have given, and the grade I have given this. Remember, this is not a data frame, it is just a dictionary. And now what we are going to do is that we are going to convert this dictionary into a Pandas data frame, and for that reason I'm giving a call to PD, and PD will give a call to a function called data frame. Within bracket I'm passing this particular dictionary. So what we are doing, we are converting the dictionary into data frame. Okay, that's what we are doing it. Remember, in this case the CSV file was there, so we have to give a call to this particular function which actually converted your CSV file into data frame. But this time I don't have any CSV, I have just got a raw dictionary, so I need to convert the dictionary into data frame, and for that reason I have to give a call to this particular function called data frame, and eventually what happens, I get the tabular structure. Let me run this particular code, and then you will understand that how this tabular structure is getting framed. See, at first I just printed the raw dictionary. That when you print the raw dictionary, this is what you will be getting based on the key value pair combination. But after the conversion of the dictionary into data frame with the help of this particular function, this is what the tabular representation comes in. And that's the reason why Panda is so important as context to machine learning. So we saw that how we converted either a CSV file into data frame or a dictionary into data frame, but finally you have to bring the data into the data frame. That's the main logic, because thereafter we can go for slicing. Yes, slicing means cutting down or chopping a piece of code segment from the data frame. Okay, and that's what we will be doing with the help of a special function called iloc. So I means over here integer. Okay, and you are going to locate the column or the row on basis of the index or integer, whatever you say it. Now let's see one thing very minutely. Just now I converted this dictionary into data frame and then I have printed this value, right? That's what I have done. Now suppose if I want to print this data frame back again, but not directly, I can directly print, this is what I'm getting, but suppose I want to print it with the help of iloc. How do I do that? And that brings me to this particular statement. Look over here what I have done. Very interesting. Please be very careful over here. The way the iloc work is, you are putting the data in the form of an array or a matrix or data frame, whatever you call it. And look over here, it has got a starting index followed by colon and an ending index. Starting, colon, ending. So over here, how many rows are there? It starts from 0, it ends to 4. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, total 5 rows are there. And that's what I've written over here. So this is the starting row number, this is the ending row number, but the ending is not inclusive, so it will end at row number 4. So if I run this particular statement, you will see exactly the same output that what we are seeing over here, but this time I'm printing it with the help of iloc. So iloc will represent the data in the form of a matrix where we have to see the starting index and the ending index, but remember the ending index is not inclusive. Okay, now what if I'm just going to put forward over here 0 only? Well, that means you are targeting a particular row and the row number what you have mentioned over here. So I'm going to print only the first row, and that also I can do it right over here. See, the very first row comes in picture. Is that so? No, it's not like that. Look over here, what the interesting part is that you are seeing the first row, but the way it is represented is the name was a Peter. Yes. What about the age of Peter is 12. City, New York, and grade is B. Right, you are seeing the content of the very first row, but the way this thing is shown over here, people often get confused, and that's the reason why it has been so important to understand the concept of indexing. So remember, when you are going with iloc, you are mentioning at the very start is the row number. Always keep this thing in mind. This is what a very, very fundamental rule goes. You are going to put the number over here, that is a row number. Your column number might not be there, no issue, but if you put the single digit, that will represent the row number. Okay, now let's move ahead to the next statement. This is going to be far more interesting. Here I'm going to introduce now another data. Look over here. Again, I have mentioned the starting value colon the ending value, and this is what means I'm talking about the row. So that means 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. But over here I have mentioned the index as well, and this is just the column index. That means I'm targeting only the name, and I want to see the first 4 name. 0, 1, 2, 3, but 3 is not inclusive. So in that case, what happens, I would be seeing only the first 3 names, Peter, Suzanne, and Joan. That's what I'm going to say it, because this particular set of data always represents the row number, and over here it represents the column number. And since it has a stop value, so that means it would end over there, but the stop value does not include, so it would be n-1. And that's the reason why you saw Peters, Suzanne and John. These things are going to be very important, very important in fact, because when you will be working on the training data set or testing data set, you have to split your data set. So for that reason, ilog is going to play a very important role. Okay, so long we were working on the row and the column, and because there was a colon was there. What if the colon is not there? Like this case, what happens? You have got 1. Well, 1 means I'm talking about the row number 1, but there is no colon over here. That's very interesting. And there is a 0. 0 means again the index. So I'm targeting the name, this particular index or the particular column. So I'm going to see the cell value, you can say. So I'm going to see the cell value, and that would print the cell value, which is the Suzanne. As you can see, row number is 1 and the column number is 0, so Suzanne gets printed. Okay, so that's how you can print a single cell also. Now what about this one? This is going to be far more interesting. How do you access? Again, you have got a separate, well, you can think like this with a nested matrix. See over here, there is a matrix, and along with that there's another matrix. This is also going to play a very important role in the upcoming machine learning part, and I will show you in fact few execution or statement of this context. So over here I'm writing 0, 2, and then I'm writing 1. So what do I mean by this 0, 2? So let me run the code and you see yourself what it means. So 0, 2. 0, 2 means what? 0. This is a 0, 2. That means this 1 is not there. You are writing comma over here, so you are skipping this 1. So 0 and 2, you are targeting these two rows, and you are saying the column number is 1, this particular column, that means age. So you are targeting the value 12 and you are targeting the value 11, and that's what you can see over here. So that means with the help of comma, you are going to select the specific row number, not the range. Over here you are talking about the range, but over here you are talking about the specific row number, so you can select. Just remember one thing, it can be colon, it can be comma. If it is a comma, you are targeting the specific row number. Okay, now finally the most important part of the story goes, as I was saying, that you might have to chop few set of data from your data frame, and that's what I'm going to do it. Let's consider this is the entire data set I have got. That means there are 4. Okay, what should I call them? That is also very interesting. Well, as far as machine learning is concerned, what we usually call them is, well, you can divide these columns into two columns, into two type of column. One is like a dependent column and the other one is independent column. Usually the last column is the dependent column and the rest of the other column are independent column. So you can say, so name, age and city, these are independent column. These independent column, technically we call them as features, and the last column is a dependent column, is called label. So I repeat, these columns, the first 3 columns or n-1 columns are called features. They are independent column. The very last column is a dependent column. They are called labels. So suppose I want to extract these features as one reference and the label as another reference. Can I do this? Yes. That's what the reason why ilog is so important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a separate reference where only the first 3 features are going to be included and not the last one. The last one I will delete in a separate reference, and that's what I'm going to do right over here. Now look over here, the way I'm writing it. See, I didn't mention the starting value, ending value. That I can do it very easily. I can write over here 0. I can write over here n-1. So how many rows are there? I have got total 5 rows. So I can say 5 over here. So 0 to 4 it will be taking in consideration. I can write this, or I can keep it as empty. It means that all the rows are inclusive. And then what I'm saying that you copy all the column except the last column. So how will I target the last column? Either you have to count, the first column is 0, the second one then is 1, 2, 3, then you have to write 3 over here. That you can also write, you can write over here 3. So in that case what happens if you are writing 3? In that case 0, 1, 2, the third column is excluded. You can write this also. Okay, if you run the code you will be seeing this piece of segment. That is fine. So you can also write over here like 0, and how many rows are there? Total 5 rows are there. So I can put over here 5. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same output you are going to get. Look over here, there is no change in output. Or else you can do one more thing. You keep this as it is. I mean, the last value, you don't have to count over here how many columns are there. Instead of that, you put -1. So that means you are discarding the last column. That's also another way of representation. So you have got a separate memory reference called features. I just gave a name as features, and there where all the features, all the independent variables are there. So that means from a complete data set, I have been able to chop out a piece of segment. That is something very important as far as machine learning is concerned, which we will come across in my next video. And now I have to extract only the last column, and for that reason what I have to do, I have to go again for ilog. And here I am saying copy all the rows from 0 to n-1, whatever you say, and I'm targeting just the specific column, and the column number is 3. And see over here, since I'm targeting only column, that's the reason I didn't put any colon over here, because you're targeting the specific column. So now if you run the code, you just have got the data of the last column, and other column has been all chopped out because the features is over here and this is the label. Henceforth, I have been able to show you that how pandas will be very important for getting the data from a CSV or converting data from a dictionary and creating a tabular format, and from there how to extract the rows in a separate reference where there will be a segment of reference that will store all the features column, and there will be another reference which will be responsible for storing the label. And these two segments are very important in my next video, where I will be including the exact purpose of this video, that is to go for KNN classification. But before we get into KNN classification, make sure you go through this entire part, because that's what is very required for all the machine learning algorithm of the supervised form of ML. And as I said, this is one part of the prerequisite which you have to learn. The next video I will be going for another prerequisite where I will be making use of sklearn package, and I will tell you that how label encoder would be coming in picture. That's going to be another very interesting video. Okay, so just wait for my next video. Until then, have a nice time. Bye bye, take care.